So your Wi-Fi isn't extending to the other side of your home, or you're having consistency issues with the Wi-Fi signal strength and latency. Well, what do you do if you are unable to run Ethernet cables because you're in a rental or in an apartment, or you just don't have the knowledge or don't want to go in the attic and run cables down the wall and go through that whole headache? Well, you have a few options nowadays that are a little bit better than they used to be. And two of those options we're going to look at today are the TP-Link Powerline Network Extender and the TP-Link Wi-Fi 6 Extender. I chose the TP-Link product line because they have a wide range of these guys at different price points. So depending on what you're trying to achieve, there may be something within those price points that you guys can have, use, and get great performance from. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so before we hook anything else up, I want to go ahead and establish a baseline. We're going to just use speedtest.net because that seems to be pretty much the consumer standard when you're doing just a regular speed test. This first test is going to be straight from the tap, as I call it, or straight out of the back of the modem. We got a ping of about 16 milliseconds. Looks like we're going to end up in like the 300s. We spiked at 4 just for a second. Back in the 3s. Looks like we're going to settle out at about 357. We're not going to round up. We're just going to take the whole number on these. So for the upload, the download was 357. The upload looks like it's kind of hanging around 22. I think that's what we're going to end up with. Again, pretty fair considering we're on Comcast and they don't really have symmetrical speeds. Next, we're going to do a regular Wi-Fi test over Wi-Fi 6E. Again, we're loading speedtest.net. We're running this in incognito so we don't save anything. I'm going to go ahead and hit go again. After each of these tests, I'm going to close the browser out in the background and just reopen it. That way we're opening it fresh, just getting basically, hey, if you just pull it up, this is what you get. We're not going to rerun the test. We're just going to run them all one time and just see what we get off the base test. Again, this is over Wi-Fi 6E. We settled on about 201. Still pretty fair. Still a 16 millisecond ping. Not too bad. And for the upload, it looks like we are going to end up at about 15. So considering we weren't hardwired, that's still pretty fair. I think we are ready to move on. Okay, so for our first setup, we're going to go with the TP-Link Powerline Adapter. We're going to plug into one of these Ethernet ports on the bottom. It doesn't matter which one. And then we're just going to plug that into the wall. This TP-Link Powerline Adapter claims that you can get up to 2000 Mbps. Again, that's theoretical. That's based on best conditions. So we're going to take the other end of this Ethernet and plug it into one of the free ports on the back of the Comcast modem. Again, it doesn't really matter which one, especially since our speeds won't, max out at the rates the theoretical rates that we can get. We're just trying to get the best results with what we have. So currently you see you have two lights lit up here. We're going to plug the other one in the office area. Just again to show you the two ports on the bottom of this side. Doesn't matter which one. We're going to plug in the left side just to keep everything the same. And as you can see, we have two of the three lights lit. This just shows you have power and you have a connection. Now we have to get the internet up, which means we have to plug into the laptop. So finally, we're going to take that cable that we just plugged in and run that to the back of our CalDigit TS3 dock. And that's going to be running into our Dell XPS laptop, which we're using for the test. Since it is capable of Wi-Fi 6E, I wanted to give all of the protocols the best chance at working its best. And now we can see all three lights are lit up. So we're ready to run a speed test with the Powerline adapter now. So we're going to go back to speedtest.net. And we're going to go ahead and hit go once again. And we're going to see what we get as far as speeds are concerned. Right off the bat, you can tell it loaded a little bit slower. You see the ping is a little bit higher. We're only getting into the 120s, 130s, 140. Looks like we're going to cap out in the 140s. I don't think we're going to get much higher than that. And we ended up with exactly 140. Remember, we're not rounding. And for the upload, surprisingly, it looks like we're going to get roughly the same speed, roughly about 22. Looks like it's actually spiking at 23 slightly, but it looks like, yep, 23 is what we're going to end up with there. So that was with the Powerline adapter. Next up, we're going to switch the Powerline adapter for the TP-Link Wi-Fi Extender. Now this basically takes your wireless signal from the router and basically duplicates it as a second Wi-Fi signal. So for the first test, we're going to just run it bare. I'm expecting the speeds to be a good bit slower because of how using a repeater works. Basically, it's kind of like you have two one-way lanes of traffic. You can only do down and up. Although it does it at a very fast pace, you have to think this thing is basically taking packets from your device, sending it to the modem, and then receiving the packets back from the modem and sending it back to your device. It's basically a middleman. So I anticipate the speeds will be slower, but there is a way to get better performance out of that. But we're just doing all of this right now just to make sure we can get a standard baseline on all of these devices. And then I'll kind of show you how I think you can improve the performance, and we'll test that theory here in just a bit. So let's go ahead and go back to speedtest.net. We're going to run this Wi-Fi extender over Wi-Fi for the first test. I'm stressing Wi-Fi for an important point, and you guys will see that here in just a bit. So right off the bat, our ping is at about 21. Our speeds are about 150. Now remember, this extender does do Wi-Fi 6, so I did anticipate a little bit better performance than standard Wi-Fi because the laptop's capable of handling it. So we ended up with 157 on the upload, ping at 21, and it looks like our upload is gonna top out at about 21. Yep, 21. Okay, perfect. So that's a good baseline for us. So now we're gonna switch. All right, so now here's the secret trick to using Wi-Fi extenders if you have the capability. We're gonna plug that Ethernet port from the Powerline adapter that you just saw me unplug, which is plugged into our CalDigit dock. And we're gonna run the test through speedtest.net again. So as you can see, the ping is a little bit higher at 42. Speeds are a little bit better, so you do get a little bit of improvement. You see we're hitting the 200s now, 230s. Probably gonna sell at about 229, 230, 238. Okay. But you notice the ping's a good bit higher. All right, so now our upload, about, same as all the rest, in around the 20s. That's gonna be roughly what you're gonna get unless you have symmetrical speeds. And since we're using Comcast, we currently don't. So here's the trick that I think will make the biggest difference. We mounted the extender up high. And the reason we did that is because now we have line of sight between the Wi-Fi extender and the modem, which is near the TV. So we're going to go ahead and run speedtest.net again. This is the extender hardwired high up with line of sight. Drum roll. Look at that ping, 16. Look at our speeds climbing. We are hitting 370, 380, 390. We touched the 400s. And we're kind of bottoming back out. Look at that, 357. Now, remember that speed because that's pretty much exactly what we got hardwired straight into the modem. and 22 was the upload that we got hardwired straight into the modem. So what this means is with Wi-Fi 6E, we are getting the same speeds hardwired as we are over wireless with an extender. Okay, so let's break that all down again and look back at our chart. For direct connection, our download speed was 357, our upload was 22, our ping was 16. Our just Wi-Fi connection, our download was 201, upload was 14, ping was 16. Over Powerline, our download was 147, upload 23, ping 25. Wi-Fi extender download was 157, upload was 21, ping 21. Wi-Fi extender 238 on the download, 21 on the upload, 42 on the ping. And the extender mounted high hardwired into the extender, we got 357, 22, and 16, which was identical to our direct connection. So the key takeaways here are two things. One, if you have line of sight with an extender and it is Wi-Fi 6, you may get similar speeds to being directly connected to your modem, which is what we're trying to achieve. Number two, your Powerline extender is a good option, but there's a caveat. If you have a lot of cabling to run through, it will degrade the signal and potentially also your ping and your latency, etc. So I would only suggest using that if you have a scenario where you know that the circuits are new and you have a short run. And what I mean by short run is basically you're running a cable through your home whenever you use a Powerline extender. It goes through your plug, however far that plug has to travel to the other end. And the longer that run is, the more likely you're gonna have signal loss and slower speeds. So that's two things to remember. Use that as a guide for whether you're gonna use a Powerline extender or a Wi-Fi extender. My suggestion is if you do have line of sight like I do, that the Wi-Fi extender, if you can take advantage of those speeds, will be your best bet. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notifications anytime I post new videos like this. I will see you guys on the next one. Later.